Alright, Department of the Navy, Headquarters, United States Marine Corps, 3000 Marine Corps, Pentagon, Washington, D.C., 20535033000. Marine Corps Order P-1727BW, CH-1, Command of Marine Corps Distribution List, Marine Corps Community Service Policy Manual, short title MCS Policy Manual. And it goes over the references, distribution statement, A, approved for public release, distribution unlimited. Enclosed locator sheet, situation, the provided organizational, operational, financial policy for the Marine Corps Community Service Programs Activate. Activities implement specific requires contained in reference A through B and cancellation MCOP 170027A. 3. Mission to issue policies, govern the management, operation, administration, military, Marine Corps Community Service Program. This manual implements relevant DoD other directive of the higher authority when appropriate. Specific additional operational policies, MCCS program support functions are published in the separate directives. Execution of revised manual reflects higher headquarters guidance for the policy revisions issued since its publication in 1999. Please review it in its entirety. Administration of logistics. This manual cancels the MCO P-1727A. Please discard old copy to discontinue use. Recommended changes to manual should be forwarded to the Deputy Commander, Manpower Reserve Affairs, DC, and Manpower Deputy Commander, Manpower Reserve Affairs. Command and Signal. Command. The manual is applicable to the Marine Corps Total Force. Signal. Manual is effective with the date signed. R.S. Coleman, Deputy Commandant for Manpower Reserve Affairs. Distribution PCN 10-20-23 2700. Marine Corps Order PC 1727B CH1, Commandment of the Marine Corps Distribution List, Marine Corps Community Service Policy Manual, short call MCCS Policy Manual. Enclosed new page inserts of ECP 1727B. Situation, transmit new page insert basic order. Mission paragraph L0510 has changed to more accurately reflective of the requirement of Marine Corps depots must provide Marine Corps Community Service, Marine Family Service, the type of support with Marine Corps recruiting command sites. Paragraph 96087D adds credit cards, electronic fund transfer as a means for companies to provide commercial sponsorship payments. Other changes are administrative in the nature. Execution, remove pages 1 through 11 and replace correspondent with enclosure. Remove page 4 through 7 and replace correspondent with enclosure. Remove page 9 through 40, replace correspondent page. And enclosure filling, instruction filled with the page in front of the original order. R.S. Coleman, Deputy Commandant for Manpower Reserve Affairs. R.S. Coleman. Distribution statement approved for public release. Distribution is unlimited. Subject, Marine Corps Community Service Policy Manual. Location, indicate location with copies of this manual. MCS policy record of changes logged and change action indicated. Alright, contents, general policy, Marine Corps Community Service Program operation. 3, chapter Marine Corps Family Team Building. 4, Marine Family Services. 5, Semper Fit. 6, Business Operation. 7, Deployment Support. 8, Military Marine Corps Program, Marine Corps Reserve Independent Duty. 9, Marine Corps Community Service Program Support. Appendix A, Definitions. B, Marine Corps Community Service Activity. C, Approved Fund, Non-Appropriated to Fund Authorization. D, Funding Policy with the MCCS. Moral Welfare, Recreation, Activity Facility Construction. E, Quality of Life, Recommended Deployment Support, Recreation Kit Blocks. 5, Health and Comfort Packs. G, Acceptance of Gifts and Donations. MCCS Policy Manual, Chapter 1, General Policy, Purpose, Background, Organization, Definition, Section 1, Roles and Responsibility, Purpose of the Manual, and Purpose of MCCS Programs. MCS Board of Directors, Director of Personal Family Readiness Division, Major Command Responsibility, Installation Commander's Responsibility, Installation Assistant Chief of Staff or Director at MCCS, Custodian Responsibilities, the Program Manager Responsibility, Fiduciary Responsibility, Waivers and other deviations from policy. Section 2, Eligibility General Identification Eligible Users. Section 3, MCCS Resourcing General Appropriated Fund Support, Directed Appropriated Fund Support, Indirect Appropriated Fund Support, Funding Categories MCS Moral Welfare Recreation Activities MCCS, Signal Non-Appropriated Fund Instrumentality, MCCS Non-Appropriated Fund Financial Management, and MCCS Non-Appropriated Fund Accounting System, Non-Appropriated Accounting Year. Marine Corps Community College, Marine Corps Community Service, Non-Appropriated Financial Capitalization, Standards, Plans, Budget, Revenue Generators for Assessment Purposes, Unit Funds, Proper Expenditure of the MCS Non-Appropriated Funds, Restriction of Use of the Non-Appropriated Funds, Uniform Funding, Management Practices, and Staffing. Section 4, Other General Policy, Audits and Inspection, Functionality, Assessment, and Fundraising Events. And then it goes through a list of figures for each chapter. And for Chapter 1, 1,000. The purpose of this manual to publish organizational, operational, financial policies for the Marine Corps Community Service. Marine Corps Community Service programs are vital mission accomplishment, form an integral part of the non-pay compensation system. These programs encourage positive individual values, personal development, aid in retention of personnel, and Marine Corps Community Services programs provide physical, cultural, service, and social needs of Marines, other members of the Marine Corps family. They also provide community support to make the Marine Corps base stations temporary hometowns for this mobile population. The Marine Corps Community Service to make significant lasting contribution to combat readiness through the personal and family readiness of the Marine Corps, or the Marines and their families. The Marine Corps Community Service can maintain mission readiness productivity through programs that promote physical, mental well-being of all members of the Marine Corps, including active duty, reserve, retired civilian. These programs promote a spirit of the D Corps among active duty members, a strong sense of military community, and a beneficial quality of life satisfaction with a military lifestyle with integration served members' family into military community. Also has a positive effect on morale, recruitment, retention, and quality of the Marines. These programs' activities satisfy the basic physiological and psychological needs of the Marines and their families, in providing the extent possible of the community systems, support systems that make Marine Corps bases temporary hometowns for a mobile military population. 1001 Background. The MCCS Compromise Exchange Activity, the Moral Welfare Recreation Programs, Family Service Activity. The team term MCCS includes all program activities under these areas unless stated otherwise, since there are funding restrictions applied with both policy and public law. For certain program activities, a distinction must be made. Those are the activities that are totally supported and appropriated funds. Those that are authorized support with both appropriated funds and MWRs, moral welfare, recreation, non-appropriated funds. All MCCS activities are at least minimal authorized appropriated funding. Non-appropriated funds should only be used to support those of the military community service activities for the corresponding moral welfare and recreation activities. They will be referred to as MCS Moral Welfare Recreation Activity Category A, B, or C. MCCS activities, see paragraph 1301. 1002 Organization of 5 basic components of the MCCS Marine Corps family. The term building, team building, Marine family service and fit for the business operation, general support for effective management, supervisor purposes. Installation commanders are authorized to comply in individual components or programs as necessary. All organizational template is provided in Figure 1.6. Installation, however, shall use the names of the activities or programs as specified in the manual elsewhere, and the Deputy Commander Morale or MRA. 1003 Definition of the manual listed in Appendix A. 1004 Reference A through C where you the determination record disposition. Chapter 1 General Policy, Section 1 Roles and Responsibility. 1100. Purpose of this being manual issues policy governing the management, operation, administrative of the MCCS programs, implement relevant in the DoD with the other directive of the higher authority and with the appropriate additional specific operation policy for the MCCS program, support function, business operation, child, youth, teen programs, family advocacy, lifelong learning, non-appropriated to funding, procurement, Semper Fi, the Marine Corps to family, team building, MCCS financial management, and single Marine program are published in separate directives. Purpose of the MCCS program: Marine Corps established MCCS programs to maintain mission readiness productivity. MCCS program must be based on assessed need of the patrons required, less whether they are assigned, and must support readiness of the physical and mental fitness, support camaraderie and unit cohesion, promote individual growth and development, support well-being and quality of life, give the Marine Corps family access to the program similar to those available to the comparable to civilian community, provide information about and improve the skills of living and fostering with the competency of the coping skills, encouraging self-sufficiency, offering short-term assistance support when necessary. G. We perceive the value, benefit of the being part of the military during the readiness contingency deployment programs must meet the deployment unit need with the unit cohesion, meet individual needs with stress relief, to support Marine and family members who remain behind both on and off Marine Corps installations. 1102. MCCS Board of Directors. The MCCS Board of Directors is chartered by the CMC with the decision-making form of the MCCS matters that major impact with the Marine Corps. The MCCS Board of Directors is supporting committee of the established per guidance below. 1102. For the duties of the MCS Board of Directors, advisement with the commandment regarding the MCCS matters will make the decision of the following: overall MCCS appropriated and non-appropriated funding programs approved by the MCCS non-appropriated funded budget. Appropriated funds oversee the MCCS program development and allocation of the funds. Monitor the MCCS related execution and headquarters for the installation. Monitor the MCCS related military construction program development and execution. Non-appropriated funds oversee annual operating budgets for the headquarters installation established for the assessment rates for the headquarters for the operating central construction funds, and appropriated non-appropriated fund of the central construction program development and execution. Monitored the non-appropriated funds execution. Headquarters operating fund of the central construction funds, investment, insurance, and funding for the installation budget, investment, centrally managed non-appropriated funds. Develop, track, associate, execute MCCS 5-year with the strategic plans for the MCCS. Establish MCS measures. Effectiveness MCCS program standing for the develop and implement with a major policy with affecting MCCS programs presenting with the MCS strategic direction of the DON, Department of the Navy, the Department of Defense, and Congress committees. The board will support with the duty of the four standing committees of the board: oversight of the construction, family readiness, investment, oversight of the committee of the chair may appoint additional committees for the purpose of the reviewing major issues. The committee chairs may appoint with the subcommittees as necessary. 1103. The director of the Personal Family Readiness Division, director of the MR and MRNA department in the headquarters of the Marine Corps, is responsible for ensuring the financial viability of the MCCS, sponsoring and prescribing the MCCS policy guidelines of the execution management MCCS program, serving as a principal internal and external point of the contact at all MCCS program funding with the authorization policies matters, providing common support services and execution responsibility of the director shall perform cause to be performed following specific duties: assist with the establishing and the enforcing standard of excellence for the MCCS activities. Minimum standards shall exist for the following areas: program, staff, financial, construction, training, provide common support service for the installation, MCCS activities such as information management, non-appropriated funding, treasury management, centralized building, buying of retail activities, centralized accounting for the same with the non-appropriated funds, employing benefits, and administrative with the non-appropriated funds, employing training and development programs, non-resale, procurement, technical and management assistance and support, etc. C. Establish and maintain short and long-term plans of the system-wide MCCS program, ensuring installation, establishing, maintain short and long-term plans of the MCS, ensure the MCCS programs are funded with the proper source, ensure respective funding streams are identified, the annual budgets for the meet with the MCCS goals, ensure installations operate, market division MCCS programs, determine market analysis, benefit, authorize patrons, access, evaluate patron, interest, desire, Surecast access for the installation non-appropriate funding program requirements is the transfer for the central USMCA and the non-appropriate amount of funding count. Encourage cost-effective service alternatives such as base commercial, local commercial alternatives to operate with the base with the MCCS programs. H. Oversee administrative and non-appropriate funding, human resource program manage comprehensive with the non-appropriate funded employment benefits, retirement, and work compensation programs. Provide with the training management function of the MCCS per the requirement of SEC Navy. This instruction 1241.024 reference AM. Ensure the training provides trust and stewardship of the delivery serve for the customer, serve for the administrator, for the unemployment, the compensation of federal employees of the program, the All Marine Corps on appropriate fund and instrumentality. Ensure the MCCS program is implemented with the best business management with effective to fulfill the local needs and develop, maintain, stand with the non-appropriate funded accounting system provided with the dual entry general ledger for all MCCS category A, B, and C. Oversee with the conduct of the annual audit of the Marine Corps non-appropriated funding instruments. Act with the chairman of the audit review oversight committee. K. Act as a custodian of the appropriated funding, the non-appropriated funding for reserve with the deputy commander of the MRA or MR and essential fiduciary responsibilities for the deputy custodian may be designated if deemed appropriate. See Appendix A with the definition of custodian duties. Fiduciary responsibility defined in paragraph 1108. L. Administrative non-appropriate funding construction programs. M. Establish directed non-appropriate funding. Establish non-appropriate funding instruments. Marine Corps of the CMC designated authority setting non-appropriate funding policy. Establish oversee MCCS program, MCCS performance management plan with the contains with the key input, output, outcome metrics, benchmarks, analysis for the results as appropriate. Serve for the MCCS program sponsor represent the appropriated funding plans, requirement of the program, objective of the memorandum of the program, review process, conduct, national customer program research related to the MCCS program. Represent MCCS program policies, plan, external, internal, and audiences. Committee of the Marine Corps Memorandum goes over the contracts to determine the best interest of the MCCS. 3. Conduct management and system team visit with the deputy commander, the MRA, and MR to provide commanders installation MCCS personnel with the hand analysis of the technical assistance installation commander of the assistant chief of the staff. Or director MCS for the deputy commander of the MRA and RAMR initiate management assistance visits, except give the MCCS up to maximum fair value market of $10,000 gifts for the acceptance of the criteria contained in the MCO 5816A reference O section Navy's instruction 4001-2H reference AZ with the gifts extending with the value should be forwarded to the CMC. For Secretary of the Navy, of the CMC, cash gifts must be proposed per provision of the Non-Moral Welfare Activity MCO 5816A, reference O. 1100, major command responsibility of the CAMAR 4COM, CAMAR 4PAC, and CAMAR 4ES. MCCC-DC shall provide oversight of the subordinate installation MCCS programs as appropriate. Installation Commander responsibility commanders of Marine Corps installation authorized MCCS programs responsible for establishing the operating customer driven MCCS program benefit of the authorized patron commanders also responsible for the program performance quality of the service and executing the responsibility of the commander shall perform the cause to be performed in the following specific duties. Ensure rules regulation pertaining to the operating of the MCCS programs are observed. Meet standards, establish MCCS activities, establish, maintain short and long-term plans, installation MCCS program, DCMNRA plans, MCCS board of director direction. Funding MCCS program, proper funding source, ensure respective funding streams of both appropriated funding and unappropriated funding, area, personal training, logistics, and the facility identified for the annual budgets of the meet with the Marine Corps community service goals, budget requirements will be developed and ensure adequate support is given in the installation tenant with the operational forces. Provide market-driven the MCCS program to determine the market analysis for the benefit of the authorized patrons. And 6. Ensure all command of the sergeants, major down with the battalion, squadron levels recruiting district station level to appropriate receive a brief on the installation MCCS Marine Family Service Program within 90 days, assuming the command or position. Ensure service members attend the brief separation council with no less than 90 days before separation, mandate with the Department Director of 1332-35 reference AO. Ensure that all separating service members attend the Transition Assistance Program workshop no less than 90 days before separation. In this case, separation counseling Transition Assistance Program workshop commences as soon as possible. During the 12-month period preceding with the anticipated separation date, in this case, the retirement pre-separation council of the Technical Transition Assistance Program workshop shall commence as soon as possible during the 24-month period preceding anticipated retirement date. Ensure Marine Family Service Quality Assurance Program is implemented, with which minimal includes in client care evaluation, credentials, review, privileging, resource management, follow-up, publicize all MCCS programs so that they are widely recognized. Programs must be located in areas easily accessible to eligible personnel, including handicapped individuals. Establish communication small independent units eligible customers within a 100-mile area surrounding the installation, coordinate delivery of the Marine Family Services. And two or more installation overlap and coverage of the particular unit area of the bases shall decide locally will provide the support of the Marine Corps recruit depots have been identified with the primary service delivery system of the Marine Corps Recruiting Command will respond to the requirements as requested. 11. Seek with the cost-effective seek of services alternative to the sister services on base commercial, local commercial alternative to the operation on base Marine Corps community service programs where possible. The MCCS support shall be provided and all authorized users assigned to are supported with the installation. Implement with the MCCS program using best business and management practices to fulfill the local needs. Ensure the efficient but non-appropriated funds coupled with available appropriated funds with their generated to sustain MCCS designated rural welfare and recreation programs. 5. Select and assign Assistant Chief of Staff and Director of the Marine Corps Community Services of the subordinate branch heads. 16. Establish multidisciplinary council, include the membership of the team with the support of the operational commander to draft the MCCS program issue. If it is desired, members of the council should be appointed with a written order that the MCCS program shall have the requirements from the DoD separate council with advisory committees. Multidisciplinary council with meant to satisfy all of the requirements for the various council. In one group of the council may review the issue addressed by the Family Advocacy Committee, Family Readiness Council with Lifelong Learning Advisory, Family Advocacy Committee with the Family Readiness Council, Lifelong Learning Advisory Council, Moral Welfare Advisory Group, Parent Advisory Board, Relocation Assistance Coordination Committee, etc. Advise the commander overall operation of the MCCS program, make recommendations for improvement, separate individuals council with the establishment instead of the multidisciplinary council. However, if the scene with advantages installation program operation. 17. Every Marine Corps installation shall establish a family advocacy program, a commandment program to address spouse abuse, child abuse, neglect, and rape, sexual assault. And 3. For the coordinated committee. Response means every person, organization of the community, military, civil, and takes with the responsibility to ensure the consistent responsibility, family violence from the war. Definite guidance given in the MCO P1724B reference D. Implement with the MCCS performance management plan. Contain the metrics for the input, outputs, outcomes, analyze, benchmark. Establish single Marine Corps program command program. 20. Establish key volunteer network command program. 1106, Installation Assistant Chief of Staff of the Directors of the MCCS Custodian responsibility. The Assistant Chief of Staff of the MCCS are responsible overall for the program operation, accountability, MCCS activities. In executing these responsibilities, the Assistant Chief of Staff of the Director of MCCS shall perform the call to be performed in following specific duties to ensure all rules and regulations pertaining to the operation MCCS programs are observed. Meter exceeds standard of establishing MCCS activity developed in short, long-term 5-year plan. Installation MCCS program shall include goals, specific measure, objectives, action plans with the milestones identified. Provide market-driven MCCS programs. Seek cost-effective MCCS service alternatives where possible. 6. Provide comparable, well-rounded MCCS programs to all authorized users. 7. Ensure employer are trained to customers with appropriate program operation requirements, budgeting, resource control, human resource requirements, procurement procedures, and other general management competencies are required. Implement the MCCS program using best business management practices to fill local needs. 9. Generate adequate non-appropriated funding coupled with available appropriated funding to ensure that the MCCS moral welfare recreation programs are self-sustained. Serve the custodian all funds property for the equipment that belong to the MCCS activities entailed fiduciary responsibility, excluding these of the duties of the Assistant Chief of Staff, Director MCCS designated the deputy custodian as deemed appropriate or acceptable gift to the MCCS to maximum fair market value of $3,000 established for the donor or other appropriate source. Gifts of exceed the amount should be referred to the deputy commander of the MNRA, MR processing other gifts acceptance criteria of the contained with the MCO 5816A reference O. Second Navy's instruction 4001 2H reference AZ cash gifts and may be process provision of the non-moral welfare recreation activities and MCO 5816A reference O. Ensure MCCS establishment performance management plan contains metrics for the input, outputs, outcomes of the analyzed and benchmark. 13. Assistant Chiefs of Staff, the Director, MCCS, absent for more than 55 days or there are no designated Assistant Deputy with the Commander shall comply with the provision of paragraph C0301C with the Department of Defense 7014R, Volume 13E, regarding the transfer of the responsibility property of the funds. When Assistant Chiefs of Services with the Director MCCS changes successor shall sign a receipt for all funds and property accounts for the records. Any difference founding to exist shall be investigated in the Department of Defense 7014R, Volume 13, referencing set forth in the detail of the combination invoice received at the time of the relief. 11,007, the program responsible for the program manager responsible over the following: the implementing and operating of the program per appropriate directive with the continually analyzing patron interest, resource facility availability. Developing annual program plan with stated plan, goals and objectives of the actions, resource requirement programs, as well as long-term plan. Plan should be consistent with overall MCCS programs, working local, civilian, and commercial organizations supplement on the base MCCS program use of off-base program facilities, advising the higher authority and requirements of the facility, collection of the appropriate performance metrics that may be analyzed and benchmarked. 11,008, fiduciary responsibility. Public law required for the waste loss with the unauthorized use of the government funding, appropriated fund and non-appropriated fund, be reported appropriate with the authority, non-appropriated fund with the government fund entitled to the same protection as funds using U.S. Treasury, non-appropriated fund designated for the benefit of the authorized patrons, purpose for the non-appropriated funded instrument for these individual fiduciary responsibilities for properly and non-appropriated funding, preventing their misuse. Reports of respective violations should be done at the lowest organizational level possible. However, reports may be made to senior management. The IGMC Department of Defense hotline, see with the Department of Defense Directory 7050. 1 reference A9 commanders of the delegated representative that are responsible for the proper detection, proper investigation, appropriate corrective action. Individuals reporting appropriated, non-appropriated funding, appropriated funding, non-appropriated funding violation protected for the reprisal of the various for the Department of Defense along with the penalties against violators. In this case, serious criminal infraction commanded of the delegated representative shall refer to the matter of the appropriate Department of Defense criminal investigation organization. Matter of the appropriate Department of Defense criminal investigation organization. The investigation referral to the judiciary authorities under Title 10 U.S. Standard Code 27883B, reference BE, penalties, substantial violation regulation governing the management of the non-appropriated funding by civil non-appropriated funding employee shall be the same as those provided by the laws. Misuse of the appropriated funding by the Department of Defense civilians paid for the appropriated fundings. Violation by military personnel punishable under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. 1109, waivers to other deviation from policy whenever the regulation conflict with the international agreements such as the Status Force Agreement, SOFA. Other appropriate authority are leased and based elsewhere with the OCONUS for the considered the beginning to modify with accordingly. Waivers of the policy contained with the manual may be authorized in the writing of the Department and Deputy Commander of the NNRA. All policy waivers will be requested and issued with the manual normal Marine Corps channels. For waivers that impact the MCCS revenue generating operation, financial integrity, MCCS non-appropriate funded instruments must contain financial analysis of the impact, either positive or negative. Chapter 1, Section 2, Eligibility. 1200 General. MCCS activity patron eligibility is covered below. The eligibility is depending on the individual program activity scope of the police refers to the appropriate part of the information. MCSCS Manual, Family Service Activity, Children, Youth, and Teen Activities, Marine Family Service Activities, Authorized Group, Active Duty, Military, Member of the Coast Guard, Member of their Families, General Eligibility, all MCCS Military, Marine Family Service Activities on unrestricted base for the reservists prior to the mobilization, military retirees or families eligible for information referral services as a space available with some lifelong learning programs are open to all military members of their families. Eligibility service requirements for specific programs such as tuition assistance covered by the MCO Peace 1560 25C with the reference as the Department of Defense Civilian Employees Base Realignment Closure Installation may use server the Department of Defense civilian employed with a base realignment closure. Installation may use services space and available for the Department of Defense civilians oversee with the location of the legal dependent for the may use services which are not otherwise available in local community child care. Military personnel, including Coast Guard with the Department of Defense civil person paid with the appropriate fund with the non-appropriate fund and revisit for the activity duty during inactivity duty with the training program of the Department of Defense contract for the eligible retirees may be eligible. The waiting list does not exist. Space is available if there's unmet when needed for the full-time and available if there's unmet need for the full-time, part-time child care. Installation commanders shall establish, publish child development enrollment priority system. All cases, first priority shall be given to children active duty, military, and the Department of Defense shall civilian personnel who either single parents or spouse employed in the full-time base outside home and military member on active duty or is a full-time student will also see MCO P 171030E reference T. Figure 1 was the Marine Corps Community Service Family Service Activities Children, Youth, and Teen Activity Eligibility Chart. And so the golden rule goes, do unto others as you would do to your children, as if they were your children. Marine Corps Community Service with the Marine War Welfare Recreation Activity Installation Commander with the determined view of the MCCS Marine Welfare Activity Base for the priority established subsection 1203, 1205, except the conflict with the international agreements would take proceedings. Hey, members of the Ready Reserve of the family members are permitted to be used with the Category C activity, same with the members' activity due with the family members of the retired reserve, including those qualified for the retired party pay with the age 60 that not have yet reached age 60 of the family members are permitted to be used with the Category C activity, the same members retired from the activity due and family members. With the Deputy Commander of the MNRA, approval of local MCCS activity authorized to establish an agreement to local governments for the Category A and B programs within the best interest of the Department of Defense. The agreement to otherwise comply with the applicable laws and regulations existing in the Category C programs, having capacity excess of the authorized patron requirements and installation have obtained with a written agreement of local community leaders indicating have no objection with the Deputy Commander. And MRA may grant waived of local community use. Unlimited authorize all MCCS moral welfare programs except the denoted with the figure 1 and 2 below. Armed forces and their families, members of the activity, the members of the Reserve Committee, with the Ready Reserve of the National Guard, Reserve, and training hospitalized military treatment facility with delayed entry program personnel and cadets of service to academies. Other uniformed services and their families, member of the Coast Guard Commission, Corps of the Public Health Services, Commission Corps of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration active duty, armed force, and other uniformed service retirees and their families. Retired active duty includes former members of the Lighthouse Service, the Emergency Officer for the retired list of the military service and the personal transfer of fleet reserve after the 16 years of active service. Retired reserve of the pay of the retired waiting for the age of 60 gray area. Others separated from the armed forces and their family members, honorably discharged veterans with 100% service-connected disability, Medal of Honor recipients, former or serving spouses of family members, unremarried surviving spouse of personnel who died on activity, retired status, unmarried former spouse who is married with a military member at least 20 years, while the military member performed 20 years of creditable service determining eligibility for the retired payee. Unmarried children, including orphans under the age of 21, over 21 incapacitated full-time student between 20 and 23 who are dependent on the active duty retired member of the over one half their support in time of the member's death. The child who is adopted by a non-military member loses their eligibility. U.S. Department of Defense Coast Guard with the civilian Department of Defense is employed with the evacuation orders with their family members with limitations. When stationed at or temporary additional duty outside of the U.S. for temporary additional duty in the United States, if it's staying at a base. Also, Mccs, Mental Welfare, Recreation Activity, Civilian Employees, Non-Appropriated Funds, Appropriated Funds. Both activities were retired within 20 or more years of moral welfare. Recreational service may be with a combination of other service of moral welfare, recreational time, activity duty, service credited for the towards civilian retirement may use all exchanges purposes with the limitation of uniform state tax. Tobacco and alcohol for the civilian employee with the temporary additional duty of the Mccs employees working with the Kaunas base, unlimited privileges overseeing and accept the uniform items. Other support Department of Defense limitation. U.S. federal employees assigned to the areas outside of the U.S. commanders may also allow the government department agencies outside of the Department of Defense by supply of services not conventionally available elsewhere do not unduly impair service of the exchange patrons and all purchases authorized in Title 10 U.S. Standard Code 2492 reference BA. Contract surgeons under contract with the Surgeon General during the period of the contract. Military personnel with a foreign nation and their family members when ordered with the U.S. Armed Forces for the overseas area of the major of the commanders grant privileges in the best interest of the U.S. merchandise purchased by military personnel with the foreign nations not on official U.S. Armed Forces shall be limited with the quantities for personal use. Paid members of the American Red Cross, young men interested in Association United States United Services of the organization, all the private organization chartered by the Department of Defense assigned to the U.S. Armed Forces outside the U.S. U.S. employees with the firm of the contracted Department of Defense working installation assigned in the areas outside of the U.S. contract technical service the personnel travel status and Kaunas occupying with the government quarters within the base purchase limitations or no uniform and state tax-free items. A dependent or former dependent entitled with transition compensation if not eligible under the appropriate another provisional law when receiving the payments for the transition compensation. Service orientation program participation with limitations. Members of the Reserve Officer Training Corps for the Junior ROTC visiting installation under orders for the part of the service orientation program authorized exchange privileges except purchase of the sale of tax-free items such as alcohol and tobacco. Members of the Naval Sea Cadet Corps on with a 2-week summer of training duty within occupying with the government quarters of the military installation authorized exchange privileges except for the purchase of the distinctive uniform items, state tax-free items such as alcohol and tobacco. Agents of person authorized in writing by the base commanding officer that shop with the authorized with the patron of the official with the organization activity entitled with limited privileges. Agents are not authorized to shop for these themselves. Coast Guard Auxiliary members are identified with the Coast Guard Auxiliary ID card CG2650. Uniform articles and accessories authorized with the Coast Guard Auxiliary directives. 4. Special exemption merchandise sale. When holding participation in special events they are open to the public and private sector with you, the air shows, automobile shows, etc., military exchange, and may sell event-related goods and souvenirs. Food, beverages on premise for the consumption merchandise shall not be advertised publicly to the distributed media. However, Civilian employees of the U.S. government working on both and presiding over the military installation, uniform, non-uniform personnel working in recognized welfare service organization, office of the activity of military service and visitors, military installation may purchase all food, beverages sold at MCCS food activity if consumed by the installation. See, civilian students and faculty, members of the service schools of the purchase may include books, supplies, materials related to the educational process only with the exchange of facilities that support the school. In this case, hardship if the individual is stranded on the installation exchange with employees may sell the otherwise unauthorized persons small quantities of gasoline, oil, automotive oils, items necessary for an individual's health. The Department of Defense civilian employees of the government authorized vehicles official benefit business may purchase the gasoline for the use of the vehicles upon President of the military travel orders authorized leasing of the government vehicle. 5. Limited to use of MCCS more welfare recreation activity except the change with the group listed in the figure 1-3 the discretion installation commanders may open activity to the patron based on local demand and the capacity. Real sale of the food, state tax free beverages, tobacco products is restricted to the amounts consumed on the presence convenience of merchandise incidental with a daily participation such as golf, tea with appropriated fund with non-appropriated fund, civilian personnel employed with a military welfare recreation activity, service with the other family members that may purchase merchandise without restriction at MCCS. Civilians. MCCS resale activities only include the golf, the bowling center, pro shop as well. The hobby resale activity does not include the main exchange with the similar retail service operations. U.S. Department of Defense Coast Guard civilians and their family members in both appropriate and non-appropriate funded retired with the Department of Defense Coast Guard civilians, Department DoD contract and personnel with the technical representative that work full-time on the installation. Other associated with the Department of Defense non-ROTC cadet participating in field of the training and practice crews, former prisoner of war, spouse of the prisoner of war, service members missing in action, and their family members exchanged with unaccompanied aid for foreign national residing authorized moral welfare recreation beneficiaries moral welfare recreation activity except child care. See Appendix A definitions. Other federal employees, non-federal DoD federal employees working on the installation, federal employees working off the installation, they may use the clubs both recertified annually guests who are not otherwise eligible for the MCCS more welfare recreation program, specifically invited and accompanied with the authorized user. Installation commanders approved local rules governing number of the guests and frequency of the use of the specific faculties. Members of the public within the U.S. related to the local community designated by the installation commander, individuals are recertified annually with the general public can attend infrequently military Marine Corps service, more welfare recreation activity sponsored events for the installation meet the criteria below. But the general public of the U.S. may use the Category C programs. The criteria below have been met. Specifically approved with the Deputy Commander of the MNRAMR. This is approved. The authority may not be eligible, and may not be delegated. Figure 1-3 with the Marine Corps Community Service More Welfare Recreation Limited Eligibility Card Commander determines if the adequate facility is available for the currently under the authorized patron. Written agreements obtained with the local government officials with the other appropriate community leaders indicated that they have no objections explaining the use of these activities. C. Allow individuals to use the facility with the beneficial both the military members of the civilian with the community. No conflicts exist in federal, state, local laws. Marine Corps family team building authorized users are Marine Corps Community Service with the Marine Corps family with the team building activity spouse over the activity military members within the tenant operation. Fourth, the permanent with the commands with the eligible participating of a key volunteer network with the lifestyle with the insight with the network knowledge and skills or links. Training session and with the spouse learning series with the down based on the role of the Marine, however, the target spouse of the or spouse learning series are those volunteers and family readiness community building activities such as links, which is lifestyle insight with the networking knowledge of the and then key volunteer network, Navy, Marine Corps, Relief Society, Red Cross, and spouse of the clubs, etc. All military active in reserve and upon referral with the Department of Civilian employee coupled premarital and marital are eligible to participate in prevention relationship enhancement programs. All military and their eligible family members may participate in chaplain religious enrichment development operation retreats. Figure 1-4, Marine Corps Family Team Building Eligibility. 1201, Identification Eligibility. Users, individuals seek with the Marine Corps Community Service of the facility service shall be positively identified with the authorized user prior to the facility service of the consumption of the sale of the credential of the non-uniform user shall be carefully checked to insert. Each individual is entitled to the privileges which that person seeks. Sales and service shall be made only authorized rules to authorized users with the MCCS activity shall be identified with the file, except for the identification shall not be required with the fountain, snack bar, restaurant, facilities with the facilities that are made available to the visitor. Members' uniform service and complete regulation uniform need not further identified generally, except that all patrons should be required to show identification cards and check cash for SSN verification or to purchase the alcohol and tobacco products. Be active duty members and members of the selected service not incomplete with the regulation uniform shall be identified armed forces of the United States with the General Geneva Convention identification card version of the Common Access Card. The version of the Common Access Card is modified from the Armed Forces State with the uniform service of the members of the Non-Oceanic Atmospheric Administration and with the U.S. Public Health Services. Delayed entry program personnel shall present with a copy of the enlistment papers along with a photo ID card or reserve retire member under age 60 gray area with identified with the Department of Defense Form 2 with the United States with the uniform service identification card reserve retired members receive with the retired pay with of age 60 or older can be identified with the Department of Defense Form 2 United States uniform service identification card retired. To E, individual ready reserve standby reserve identification inactive with the National Guard members not active with duty over 30 days can be identified with the machine readable with the Department of Defense Form 2 with the Armed Forces of the United States with the Geneva Convention with identification card. 5. Eligible family members activity duty with the retired with the pay with the members committee identified with the machine reachable with the Department of Defense Form 1173 United States with the uniform service identification privilege cards. Eligible family member of the reserve component members reserve retired grade with the area of the members reform members of identified with the machine readable with the Department of Defense Form 1173-1 United States uniform service identification privilege card. H. A machine readability Department of Defense Form 2765 can also be identified with the medal with the honor recipients honorable discharge veterans rated with the VA as 100% disabled with the uniform service connected with the injury or disease qualifying with the former spouses. I. Qualifying foster children may be issued with the Department of Defense Form 1173 with the Department Form 1173 exchange students are not entitled to either card. The MCCS moral welfare and recreation activities employees family members are not otherwise entitled to the retail privileges of military service members of the family members shall be identified with the U.S. Department of Defense uniform service identification privilege card version of the Common Access Card form and DOD Form 2574 Form 2574 shall be issued specific period within not exceeding 3 years. K. The moral and welfare recreation employees of the other services have been identified with a letter from their employer stating that they are the moral welfare recreation employees along with a photo ID. If their service is issued with a photo ID card, they will be adequate as long as they are positively identified as individuals as moral welfare recreation employee. As an agent authorized patron identified by letter when making purchase of the service station, authorized user may be identified with the station vehicle identification decal sticker providing such of the decal sticker positively identified with the individual authorized user. One identifying individual using governmental commercial purchase card wishes to make official purchase for their authorized organizational photo identification shall be required for the verify against the name of the governmental commercial purchase card of the identification is not necessary. Chapter 1, Section 3, Marine Corps Community Service Resourcing, General 1300. MCCS programs shall be operated appropriated funds. In some cases, non-appropriated funds authorized by the applicable directive for the appropriated funds shall be the primary funding source for all MCCS activities where authorized. Operation include operation maintenance of the military pay, the military construction, and Figure 1.5 define which programs are authorized for the type of the funding. Further guidance is in Appendix C. Business operation clubs exchange with recreational business activity services, AP, both MCS family family team board, key volunteer program, lifestyle, insight with the network, knowledge, skills, and spouse leadership, appropriated fund and non-appropriated fund, and upline enrichment, development, operation, prevention, relationship, enhancement program, appropriated funding, yes, non-appropriated funding, no. Marine family, serve with the council, serve with the family, advocate for the substance abuse for the new parent with the support program, etc. Life learning, voluntary education programs, readiness, community support, exemptional family member program, relocation, assistance training, assistance for retired activities, yes, and appropriated, non-appropriated, no. Semper Fit, fitness, health, and promotion, recreation, single and marine program, sports, yes and yes. Figure 1.5 of the Marine Corps Community Service Resourcing Chart of the Marine Corps Community Service consists of the moral welfare recreation, non-moral recreation type of activity that must be differentiated with a resource for the both type of the activity are considered essential for the meeting with the organizational objective of the Marine Corps. 1301, appropriated funding of the support of the basic stream of the funding of the MCCS program with the appropriated funding with the 100% of the cost of which they have authorized. Each command shall file the formal program objective memorandum. Similar resource related with the guidance of the committee and initiative with the appropriated funding with the resource of the consideration of these all initiatives with appropriate coordinated with the view of the formal chain of command staffing, i.e. local installation regional command MARFORAs. Operating budget holders with the formal submission for the MCCS program and sponsor for the deputy commander with a review of the appropriate with the MCCS POM submission. The director 1302, the director appropriated funding of MCCS activity receive the director appropriated fund support for the expense of the elements of the civilian labor and travel personnel with the transportation of the things, contract supplies, equipment, and other expense for the printing and the reproduction. 1303, indirect appropriated funding support for the MCCS moral welfare recreation activity required to report, and directed for the appropriated funding support, and directed for that support include the appropriated funding base operational support cost for the MCCS programs and activities, base operation cost of the budget, executed support for the installation budget, including the MCCS costs included but not limited to the military personnel support, civilian personnel service, the facility, infrastructure support, fire, police, health, safety, equipment and operation, financial accounting support, the installation procurement of the common warehouse, communication and installation of the information system, legal service, transportation service, maintenance and repair service, minor construction under 200,000 K, second the destination, transportation, utility, property, rental, the refuse, collection, or snow removal, custodial, janitorial services. Reporting these costs required for the calculation appropriate to funding metrics for the moral welfare recreation funding categories maintained below. 3 utilities included cost water, gas, electricity, other utility services of the MCCS activities. Rated charge shall not include incremental or prorated share of overhead maintenance and repair utility systems, capital and investment in the installation utility infrastructure unless otherwise specified with the memorandum of agreement. For the Personal Family Readiness Division will provide the annual budget guidance of capturing the data required for the OP 34 and PB 50 presidential budget exhibits for the annual Marine Corps metric report. 1304 funding categories of the MCCS More Welfare Recreation Activity. MCCS More Recreation Facility shall file with the established categories uniformity funding of the reporting. All management financial data reports should comply with the Department of Defense 7014 R, Volume 13, Reference E, Navy SOP 1000, Reference F, listed with the MCCS activities which each of the following categories appendix B with the Marital Welfare Recreation Program's integral part. Non-payment compensation system of the programs provide with the physical, cultural, and social needs of Marines and other programs for the Marine Corps family. Marine Corps Community Service moral welfare recreation programs specifically defined in this manual, as well as the Department of Defense Instruction 1015-10 reference AP. Nature of the MCCS moral welfare recreation activities determines which are wholly predominantly operated with the appropriated funding, non-appropriated based on the criteria of the mission, essentially non-appropriated revenue with the generate capability with either the MCCS moral recreation activities assigned to one of three support activities category C, revenue generator activity, general appropriated funding available to make with the cost supporting with the category A, moral B, moral welfare recreation activities. Use appropriated funding supporting executive control, essential command with supervision, ECS, definition appendix A, related expenses of the category C of the revenue generating moral welfare recreation exchange activities, except personal cost exchange with activities not appropriate to funding must be used to support the non-appropriate to ECS category C function related to internal management, non-appropriate to funding issue. instrument. One, Category A missions. Sustaining these activities are considered most essential for the mental welfare recreation activities. Meeting organizational objective of the Marine Corps program shall be supported almost entirely with appropriated funding within youth and non-appropriated limited. Specific instances of the appropriated funding are prohibited by law. Aware of the youth and non-appropriated essential operational facility activities in category virtually no capacity would generate non-appropriated revenue. Activities with the category promote the physical and mental well-being of the military, minimum requirement to support accomplishment of the basic military mission. See examples of the physical fitness facility, libraries, Marine Corps, family team building programs, unit level sports category appropriated to funding goals of 100% of all authorized costs. The number of the activities included in Category A reporting purposes, however, they are not expected to fully fund with appropriated fundings. For example, the installation level sharing with non-appropriated funding, instrument accounting, instrument offices, procurement, human resource offices, and similar activities. In addition, Category A installation levels are frequently co-located with the minor functions, incidental release, resale activities, and fitness centers, etc. with non-appropriated funding support. Functions are considered for the Category C funding purposes shall be reported in the category and their size with a significant however the many their small size makes it impractical to break them out, report them separately with the parent Category A program. For the reason appropriated funding of the funding stream of the Category A is a minimum 85% of the total expenditures. Category B with the community with the activity closely related with in terms of the support of the military mission with those groups in Category A with the support of the activity shall receive a substantial amount of the appropriated funding support with the differ from those of Category A within the part with because of their ability to generate non-appropriated funding revenues. That ability to generate revenues is limited with the however in no case could they be sustained with a substantial appropriated funding support. Some of the examples of the automotive skill of the development, arts and crafts, skill of development of children, youth, and team and activity to outdoor recreation. Category B has the limited ability to generate non-appropriated funding revenues. Appropriated funding standards of the Category B, minimum 65% of the total expenditure, remaining resources obtained with a fee for the charge assisted the program use. Category C, revenue generation activities in these groups of the business is compatible with generating income with the cover of the most of the operating expenses, but lack the accessibility to sustain themselves based primarily on their business activity. Consequently, they receive limited appropriated funding support. Some of the examples of exchange golf course clubs and private berthing marinas with some of the category C with the area of the appropriated funding support shall be limited to promote isolated with the Category C with the revenue generated programs designated with the remote with the isolated location when they may receive the same type of the appropriate funding support as in funding with the same authorization level. The Category B program definition Appendix A, the location designated remote isolated area of the Marine Corps Logistic Bay for the Albany, Marine Corps LB, Barstow, Marine Corps Air Station, Beaufort, Marine Corps Mountain Warfare Training Center, Bridgeport, Marine Corps Mobilization Command, Kansas City, Marine Corps Recruiting Depot, Paris, Outland Marine Corps Air Command, Ground Command, Combat Center, 29 Palms, MCAS, Yuma, MCB, Camp Butler, also include Okinawa camps as well, with Camp Fiji, MCS Okinawa. 1305 MCCS signal and appropriated funding instrument with an open appropriated funding legal with non-appropriated funding items and either the MCCS category A, B, and C activity that show the signal with the MCCS operating fund with non-appropriated funding the headquarters Marine Corps and signal MCCS non-appropriated funding instrument. Each of the installation here has referred to the non-appropriated funding for the program Pro 1 and 2 for the activity to fund the Department of Defense for instruction 10-15-15-15 MCCS program support and non-appropriated encompass for the operational support elements for the Marine Corps welfare resource or components for the Marine Corps MCCS organization. Note this paragraph only applies with non-appropriated funding instruments within MCCS. The organization with the non-appropriated funding instrument should serve the building funds and chaplain religious offering funds to which for the mutually does not apply. 1306 for the MCCF, the non-appropriated official financial management of the MCS organization shall operate with a centralized financial management system with the DC Department of Command so that the server will provide with the Council with the Treasury Services, financial analysis of the centralized retail operation, reporting, banking, server the installation shall be obtained with the distinct financial management systems are needed to support individual installation non-appropriated funding instrument requirements. Headquarters will manage the 4 distinct non-appropriated funding instruments support with the entire system operating funding with the central construction funding with the employee benefits fund and general insurance fund. Account of DCS MRA will manage the four headquarters of the non-appropriate funding investment instruments, manage with the flow of funding between them, perform centralized banking with the check of the printing of all installation non-appropriate funding, passing funds through the operating of the fund central cash account with DC. MR and AMR will use the performing accounting for the support centralized retail function treasury. DCMRA will centrally invest cash for the non-appropriate funding investment approved with the vehicle with the distributed prorated to interest with the revenue monthly with the participating non-appropriate funding instrument based on average daily balances. Financial assistance analysis reporting. DCIA mRNA maintain financial system operator help desk, provide regular training. DC mRNA will the consolidate financial reporting of the higher headquarters, coordinate with the financial system issue with the installation, oversee financial organization with the system and credit management with the DC mRNA will operate with the consolidated credit programs, maintain consolidated debt collection program. 1307 the MCCF and non-appropriate funding accounting system. The MCS and non-appropriate funding accounting system is based on the chart of the accounts of the chain with the cost center with the configuration with the DCA MRA configuration allows data to be extracted with a variety of the wages standardized the reporting and facilitated sound business decisions balance sheet with all MCS and moral welfare recreation activities have single consolidated balance sheet separate distinct other non-appropriate funded installations such as the building fund operating statement account with a non-appropriate financial institution and non-appropriate funding financial system even its cost center allow flexibility to budget account report evaluate operations at a variety of responsible levels of the organization. For profit loss statement, the profit loss statement is principal for the document management evaluate with the success of the business or with the cost of the program. These statements with the standard reports and system will compare current period operation against budget and prior periods of trend analysis. Statement of cash flows independent of the certified public accounting firm will prepare a consolidated statement of cash flow for the annual with the DC, MR, and AMR. This consolidated statement is summary of the source of the cash generated during the fiscal year of the operating activity. The application of that cash. The statement is the standard report required of the Department of Defense Instruction 10-15-15-15 reference AQ. 1308 non-appropriate funding accounting year for the MCS non-appropriate funding investigation February 1 ends January 31st following year 15-day layaway authorized for beginning and end dates. Accounting year designation shall be the calendar year in which major portion of the business was conducted. And we'll hold the tape right there.